What is up, gang? It's another day at the office. October 2024. It's getting cold. It's getting gloomy. It's about that time for, checking out some dark records. This record right here, it was pretty dark back in the day, East 1999, Bone Thugs Eternal. I love this record. I want to do some stuff on it. It really needs no review, But y'all know I'm a big Bone fan, being raised off of Ruthless Records. So I'm Bone all day long, man. We haven't really got into their group records that much, though. I mostly just speak on their solo projects. You'll know Busy Bone just dropped another project. I'll give it my thoughts eventually. We had Crazy, Lazy, Flesh drop some projects this year. These cats are staying active, and I love these legends that are still doing their thing, man. But I want to take you back to 1995. Eazy-E had just struck gold with this new supergroup from Cleveland with the rap style that I never heard in my life. They were rapping so fast, I could hardly make out what they were saying. I was like 15, man, maybe 14 when they first dropped. Ruthless Records, right now, at this time, they were just pumping out hit after hit, but nothing that could match the numbers that Death Row Records was doing. Not even close. Now, y'all know Eazy passed. He just passed before this album dropped. And we know that he heard it. If you listen to Bone's future projects, you can kind of feel the absence of Eric. But in this one, you get that Eazy-E aura still. Maybe not so much later. I don't think his involvement I don't think he was as involved like he was on Creeping on a Come Up. He kind of let DJ U-Neek and Bone like do their thing. When it dropped, this thing was like Hiroshima. Ruthless Records finally had a multi-platinum hit again. Bone was mainstream, and even then, we had no idea how monumental they'd really become. So enter 2024. And like I said, the last thing that this record needs is another review, right? I mean, we all know that it's a classic. So I want to talk about my favorites. I want to look at a video or two, compare the Crossroad tracks, the single with different crossroads on there. Of course, this one right here has the remix, but there was the OG, there was the new one. I want to talk about them. I want to do a comparison. This is more of a celebration of this record. I don't think it's a 30th anniversary yet, is it? I mean, that's probably like next year. Either way, we're going to go over the good, the bad, the ugly still. I want to pick out the crown jewel, the best track on here, which wasn't easy. And this video will be mercifully separated by chapter markers, so you can skip ahead, check out the physical, check out the good, bad, ugly, whatever you want. And I think we should just dive right in, man. Let's dive into, let's get into the past first. My first time hearing this record, I was in a car with my homeboy Dre, and we had just picked up this hitchhiker who took us out to fucking way east side of Denver somewhere. Look, we're like 15, 16, so we haven't like traveled, the whole state. We weren't that familiar with it, but we got lost. And I remember after we dropped him off, he gave us like 20 bucks, maybe, if that. So what do we do with that cash? We found a record store, Angelo's. We used to go to Angelo's up in Longmont, Colorado. There was an Angelo's up here in Denver somewhere. I don't even know where it was. But, my homeboy went in, he spent the 20 bucks and came out with the Bone CD. It's like, damn. Was it a CD or a tape? Pretty sure it was a CD. I didn't know that Bone came out with another record yet, I don't think I saw the release dates in the magazines or anything. I was just surprised. I was like, sweet, man. So, we're like lost. We don't even have GPS at this time, no phones or nothing. So we're like on our own, man. And we're bumping this new record, and I remember just opening it up and looking at all the graphics there in the car. I was like, damn, this is crazy. But even the graphics and everything, as sweet as they were, had to take a back seat to the music. it was just, the first time you hear a classic record that you don't even know is going to be classic yet, it was that type of vibe. Uh, we were like lost, but it didn't even matter, man, because we were bumping this badass CD. And of course, we found our way home. But that was the first time I heard this record. Just a couple lost dudes, lost teenagers, um, cruising around Denver somewhere, trying to get home, bumping Bone Thugs, East 1999. And this record was going to be dope, and we didn't even know it. Like, we didn't even know how big it was going to be. So that was the first time I heard it. In high school, everybody loved Bone, man. Bone Thugs. They were the new thing. They were fucking dope. Nobody heard anything like them. East 1999 was just sick, man. Just sick. Like, if you heard Bone, it was kind of like a cult following. Like, oh, did you see this group did you see their video on TV, like we did? But when 1999 came out, they blew up. Like, they were complete commercial success. So that was like my first time hearing this. That's what it was like back in the day. Let's go over some of the nerd shit, the wiki. East 1999 Eternal. The second studio album, they say studio because the first one, Bone Enterprise, was probably recorded in a basement, I'm sure. By, let's see, 1995, July 25th. Nice, by Ruthless Records. It was released 4 months after the death of Eazy-E. The group's mentor and executive producer of the album. That's right. The Crossroads was dedicated to him. I'd say the remix was dedicated to him. I don't really think the OG one was. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. They're following up on their surprise success of the breakthrough single Thuggish Ruggish Bone. Yeah, that was pretty big. All right, let's see how it did, man. This is a 68-minute record. I knew it was long. The singles that we got, First of the Month, East 1999, and The Crossroads. Nice. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, from August to April, that was a pretty good run for singles, almost 6 months, really. So, East 1999 Eternal sold 307,000 units in its first week. Obviously, it debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, and even more obvious on the top R&B hip-hop albums. That's crazy. It went number 1. It was number 1 in its first, second week, both charts selling whatever. Lots of numbers. So that's crazy, man. Critical reception. Let's check out these professional ratings. I guess they were paid to rate, right? Let's see if there's any cap in here. Okay, Entertainment Weekly gave it a B-. That's cap. NME an 8 out of 10. Man, they're reaching for that. That's cap. Rolling Stone's a 3 out of 5. Cap. The Rolling Stone album guide. I don't know why they gave it a 4, but the other, okay, whatever. The Source gave it 3.5 out of 5. Man, that's cap. 3.5 mics? Really? It should be 4 mics minimum, minimum. The Village Voice, a C. Cap. All these cap review scores, man. These guys are pathetic. But retrospectively, Jason Birchmer of AllMusic described E as an impressive debut full length that dismisses any notion of blah, blah, blah. All right. Anyway, some of these people probably went back and apologized later, how they do that. Like, we were wrong. It really was classic. Check out these producers on here, man. DJ U-Neek, he's in control of every track. But we got Tony C's fingerprints on many of these, and I love some Tony C. That's cool. McLeod, I don't know, whoever that is. And then, of course, we got the Mo Thug remix, U-Neek and Tony C. All the cool samples here. Me Killer, I Will Follow Him by Peggy March. Okay, I've never really looked at the sample credits here. Bud Smokers Only, Reasons by Earth, Wind, and Fire. So if you're interested in checking out the originals of these, do so. Oh, one thing, I didn't know this until like a month or two ago, that Eternal was the character BIOS theme from Eternal Champions, the Sega Genesis fighting game. What a trip. What a trip. You'll have to check that out. I YouTubed it and it blows my mind, dude. It's like, what? Maybe we'll check it out. We'll put it on the video, right? Why not? Personnel. Eazy-E Wright, executive producer and album concept. DJ U-Neek, producer, recording. And then we got Lazy Bone as a producer for whatever reason. You know, some dudes who were important, I guess. Weekly charts, year-end charts. Very impressive. Very impressive. I don't know how long it went or it took for this to go platinum, but shouldn't have took that long. Yep, platinum, gold in the United Kingdom. Come on, UK. United States, it went 4 times platinum. Insane, man. I'm not even surprised. It's just such a killer record. Man. So, we got some external links. Check all that shit out if you're really interested. Let's go ahead and check out the physical, man. I got the gloves. You know how we do it here, man. Let's get physical. All right, so here we got the physical CD here. I know we got this glare, but we'll be taking this out. Before we do that, though, let's just take a look at the plastic, the back of it. This is from this plastic case here. Track listing, pretty nice, pretty nice. I love to see Eric Eazy-E Wright on this sucker. I also really love the Rest in Peace logo, 11523. Man, that was so dope back in the day. It takes me back. And then, of course, I love me this guy, Ruthless Records. The logo, the company, the legendary place that started it all. This gangsta shit. How about these skulls, man? This all looks pretty cool, right? And then this one has the Crossroads DJ U-Neek's Mo Thug remix. All right, that's cool. That's cool. On the side we got Bone Thugs and Harmony. Nothing different there. Nothing crazy. Let's open this bad boy up. See what we get. All right. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. Whatever this is, man. Streets. I think this was some kind of puzzle. Like if you connected some of these dots, you got maybe a phone number, and you could call it and hear Eazy-E say some shit, which is kind of cool. I'll just zoom in on that sucker for you, all right? Let me just see. I mean, that's cool, man. Look at that shit. I think that's hella tight. The same photograph that's used on the front cover. I don't know what or why they did that, but it is what it is. It's pretty cool. I think this pose that they had here was used for posters and shit. So if you ever got a Bone poster, you might have had that pose there. Yeah, I bet you I'm right. Anyways, check out this guy right here, man. This silver CD. It's all silver, but you could see some of the, I don't know what you want to call that, embossed. It's sketched in there, man. It's really sketched in there. And this shine, of course, probably hard to see it, but those are skulls in there. Let's just zoom up in here. It's pretty cool, man. It's really hard to get this on camera because of the reflection. You're seeing like my phone reflection there. But if you have the physical, you know what this is, man. You know what this is. And here we got some bone member hands. Let's just pop this sucker out and look at the back. And there is our both thugs, yo. There's our thugs, all 5 of them, right? So let me take a guess here. This is Crazy. That's, right, that's Busy. What is that, Flesh? No, that's Busy right there. That's Wish, Busy, Flesh maybe, Lazy. I don't know, man. Who did I miss? And Crazy, okay. Crazy, Lazy, Flesh, Busy, Wish. Okay, hey, what's all this shit though? Eternal. That's dope. Eternal something, you know. Saint East 1999. Cool. Suppress. Is that what it says there? Suppress? Interesting, man. Got little skeleton hands. This is really dope. They don't make them like this anymore. Now, one thing I used to love about these Ruthless Records, these CDs, is they had these secret messages in the back. Y'all remember, if you've seen my MC Ren Villain in Black, revisit, he had the same type of shit here. This one says, believe in the last day. Pretty spooky. And then there's probably another one on this side, right? This one is hard to get, man. It's a bitch. So I'm gonna pull it out here. I'm gonna make it work. Okay, I made it work. It was hard. But that says don't give props to the devil. Okay. Anyways, you can kind of see it through the plastic there. This was cool, man. Real creative shit, you know. Let's pull this. Let's pull out the sleeve. All right, we're gonna zoom out and shit. All right, look at this cover, man. It's so sweet. I mean, I love this cover. I think we got. Oh, yep. There's Eazy-E hanging out in the back there. Just zoom in on that in case you didn't know. But there he is, right there. Eazy-E hiding in the window. One of his famous pictures that they took and they put him right there. What's this shit up here? Omi's something. I mean, it's Bone. You gotta always look for all the secrets, right? I love these graphics. This is like that Atari Jaguar type of graphical power. 3D, you know, pretty cool. And then we got our thugs. You know, I love that that these shirts, Indians, Celtics, super tight, man, super tight. Wish keeping it pretty simple. There's no graphic of flesh on here. That's kind of weird, huh? All right, nice. The introduction. DJ U-Neek. Let's take a sneak peek here, man. We're just gonna zoom in here. U-Neek and Hester. U-Neek and Tony C. That's dope. I love me some Tony C. Tony C on a lot of these. Bone and DJ U-Neek. Yeah, this is good shit, man. When you got Tony C and DJ U-Neek together, that was the magic that made this record. I think that's what separates this one from the rest of the records, or one of those variables of the producers. This one had the right combination of Tony C and DJ U-Neek. I'd have to see how the rest of their albums did with producers, but I have a feeling that DJ U-Neek was the guy who was in charge of the beats going forward. Although, I mean, that was Art of War 1 and 2 for sure. I wonder about the production credits on that one. I'm going to need to get the physical on that one because it's been a minute since I've touched it. Anything interesting here? Let's see that remix, the Crossroads DJ U-Neek Mo Thug remix. Yeah, that's all DJ U-Neek, man. And that makes sense because that was the defining sound of DJ U-Neek going forward. I'm always trying to make that commercial hit, trying to repeat that success that he had with Crossroads. I'm not sure he ever reached it though, or they did. I mean, they had some good hits afterwards, but I think that Crossroads was so big, it put him on the map. Murder, Mo Murder, shots to the double Glock. How about some credits here? Oh, let's check out these Bone faces though. I mean, first of all, we got Lazy Bone over here. A young Lazy and a young Busy. These guys, they hardly ever change, you know. I think Wish has probably changed the most, maybe, but he's always been kind of thick. I know that Lazy looks the same, damn near the same. You can make the same case for Crazy and Busy, really, but yeah, you know, they got their special thanks here. What do we got here? BT, fucking camera all shaking and shit. All right, Ruthless Records, Soul Train. I don't see anybody interesting, you know. Eazy-E, of course. Old Thug, the Heist Kid. Yeah, there's like no famous rappers on there. Not even a shout out to anybody on Ruthless. You know, it's crazy. Let's move the page though. There's Crazy. Album concept by Eric Eazy-E, right? That's pretty cool. I wonder how he came up with that concept, or how do they decide that that was Eazy's concept? I'll take it though, man. Anytime you get Eazy-E's name on something, it's just dope. DJ U-Neek, cool, cool. Any any other props here? Nah. You know, let's take a look at this limo style, you know. Gonna drive it by. It's pretty cool, man. It was pretty long CD sleeve, you know. That's tight. Yeah. Rest in peace, Eazy-E, man, the Godfather. Now we have this weird Ouija graphic. And I think if you hold this in a mirror and you read it like backwards, it actually does say something. Who did this? The Mystic Fortune Company. Actually, really right there in Cleveland. That's crazy. On East 1999 of all streets. So, you know, this is the hard copy. This is the remix Crossroads version, of course. But you know what? I got one more thing. I got one more thing to show. That's what I'm talking about. The Crossroads, the physical single. Take a look at the back here. I like this cool font that they were using back in the day. You know, it reminds me of late 90s Ruthless for sure. Just tight as hell. You know, we got some new music coming in 96. Easy Rin, Blue Light. What in the world was Blue Light? An R&B group probably? I don't know, man. But check out the single here, man. We had the Crossroads and the Thug remix, and then we had the OG Crossroads, you know, the instrumentals. It's so cool. It's crazy having the instrumentals to the OG one, especially. But I love it, man. I had to go out and find this single because they didn't give me the OG East 1999 record. You know, we open it up and that's what we get. There is nothing like seeing Ruthless Records, baby, on a CD. It's just so classic. So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Bone Thugs and Harmony, East 1999. Let me know if you had the tape, you had the CD, you got the record, you know, maybe you got the LP and the vinyl, I mean. Maybe you got the vinyl, let me know. So that was pretty dope, man. That was the physical. I love it. It's still classic to this day. And it's cool to have both of them, man. You know, why not? I got to check out the first of the month, though, the single. I don't have that. I'm missing singles. Either way, let's start off with my favorite tracks of this record. Um, of course, the way it starts is perfect. You know, they've always had the spooky badass intros. Bone Thugs, you know, I think they're probably the best at intros. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. When you try to compare them to other artists and intros, I think Bone just really sticks out. All their intros have always been like bomb first, badass, or you know, it really gets the mood right. So this one, no different. It's actually like a song. There's a song in that intro. I don't know why. I mean, it's the introduction, so I guess it's not really an intro, but it's the introduction, and it's tied to a track on there. Beautiful. But my favorite tracks here, let's go over some of these. All right, I want to go over Eternal. You know, who would have thought that the sample from the Sega Genesis game Eternal Champions would remain this hidden gem on YouTube? Like, I didn't know that Eternal Champions was used for the song. I never looked at the wiki for this CD. I just didn't know until like this year. It's genius though. This is a living and breathing beat, man. If you listen close to it, it gets better every second. Crazy and lazy lay down the hook like they should, and Wish, who is often overlooked for his lack of solo efforts, really. He shines on this track, man. He really shines. If you think about it, he really shines on all the tracks he's on throughout the entire CD. I overlooked, you know, maybe some Wish stuff back in the day, but listening to it, like to review it or just really pick out my favorites, I really saw how he just stood out, man. I didn't even really realize it back then. Anyways, I love the way it ends after after his verse, it mixes right in with Crept and We Came. And man, you gotta love that shit, man. It's dope, man. I love that track. It sounds like someone took a pipe and they're rubbing it on the fence, on Crept. Is that the Crept and We Came after Eternal, man? Yeah, Crept and We Came. It has that. It sounds like someone's taking a steel baseball bat, just rubbing it against the fence, man. You gotta love it. I like the way it sounds. I recognize that the track has a lot going for it. We got keys, those whistles, maybe. It's really just fucking dope. Some of the violin that's in it, and the crazy, that haunting crow in the back. Is that a crow? I don't know what it is. It's like, another thing I like is the echo effect and the way that it pauses and really just emphasizes their lyrics when things pause. It's just a masterpiece, The way that it goes from Eternal into Crept and We Came, like DJ U-Neek has already, in 3 songs, you already know you're getting what's going to be a masterpiece, man. It's fucking crazy. It's dope. My next favorite, Down 71. Maybe my all-time favorite track and in my top 3 Bone songs ever, Down 71. The skit at the start, it's perfect. We get a Bone, a Bone Thug. They're just in the courtroom acting a fool, and Busy's on the stand sounding all gangsta. We got a judge who's straight out of like your fucking nightmares, dude. Busy's just fucking perfect to start it. He brings that thuggish harmony in here, the way that he starts off rapping. I love that harmony. It's classic. And in the back, those ghostly vocals, and you can almost like see the spirits, like a Ouija board or some shit, man. It's kind of creepy, but you know that they've done their job well here. U-Neek and Bone. And then in the back, you hear helicopters and the skit of these 2 old guys on the porch. It's so awesome. I love that skit. They know how to set the tone, paint the picture, tell the story. We got gunshots, Crazy Bone with one of the best moments on the record, his heart beating, and the simple few keys on that piano. It's a lot of description that I just threw out, but the track is classic. I love it. The beat is fire. The piano just gets stuck in my head all the time. Dun, 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 dun. And then it just goes, man. That beat is sick. Land of the Heartless. I wanted to talk about Land of the Heartless, and to be honest with you guys, I wasn't impressed with the track back in the day, but over time, I've learned to appreciate its slower tempo, its subtle piano, it's got those keys in the background. These guys land on this beat almost whispering, but still with that double rhythm bone flow, and you sit and you just absorb the song. You get a feeling for the grim Cleveland picture that they're painting, they're illustrating, and maybe this is more props to U-Neek, but each one of them make a dead serious verse. Oddly enough, there's no Wish or Flesh on here. Maybe there's some Flesh on the chorus. I don't know. I tried to listen closely, but I don't know. I doubt it. Hey, years later, what I thought was a sleeper track stands out as one of my favorites. Do you guys have any tracks like that on this record that maybe you skipped or just didn't like, but years later you're just like, I don't know what I was thinking. This track is one of my favorites now. Let me know in the comments. My next favorite, First of the Month. First of the Month, man. This track, I really feel like there's no other track that Bone ever did like it in their history. It's the best of the best. Might even say it's Bone's best ever. I don't know. What do you think, man? Let's talk about the song though. I think it's gangsta. I think there's a rhythm to it, It's like a bluesy song. I think Eazy-E would have wanted it. He would have wanted the track on here. It's appealing to the masses the way Eazy would want, and it's iconic. It really, really is. But it's also ghetto. It's gangster, it's gutter, it's whatever you want to call it. And it's just real. The first of the month, food stamps, paychecks, all that good shit. It's a recipe that only Ruthless and Bone could do, and DJ U-Neek never made another track like this, in my opinion. It's too bad, I guess, but you can't really capture that magic twice. The track is just that iconic. Perfect time, perfect track. These guys all come in with their lyrics, and it's like they're in harmony, man. This is the definition of Bone Thugs in Harmony, the First of the Month track. It's so fucking dope. It was like lightning in a bottle, man. I don't think they could ever reproduce such a cool track. It wasn't as impactful as maybe the Crossroads remix was, but it was a fun track. It was a fun track before. This came out before the Crossroads remix, and it was on the radio, and the videos were all over TV, and this was going to be the mega hit, I thought, of East 1999. But later we found out it wasn't, but it was close, man. Looking back at this song, man, it's like, look, how good did we have it in 1995 with this type of shit, man? We had it so good.
The first of the month, and I'll be smoking, joking, rolling, busting, sipping on 40 ounces again. Gum, we got the bust and rum all night.
So yeah, First of the Month. I love that song. Love it, love it, love it. The next track I put down as a favorite is Die, Die, Die. Look, man, I like the small skits in this record, man. It's an art form. It really pulls you in like a movie, and in this case, it's no different, man. You just feel like you're watching like this skit, this, like, you can see the song in your head, in your mind's eye, you can see the song. I mean, am I crazy? You guys know what I mean, right? How about the way it starts with Busy and Crazy, man? They just murder it. U-Neek is on that beat. Nothing to fuck with either, man. That beat is just killer dope. I love it. It's kind of short, but it gives me almost a creeping on a come up vibe. Listening closer, I don't think I realized that this was just Busy and Crazy on the track. And it's one of their finest gems. The piano keys, the funky music, the dope-ass skits. It's all here. It's an easy favorite of mine. Die, Die, Die.
Dropping the niggas with the Glock done. Nigga, you must have run, looking the shotgun. Leaving above my blood stun. 187 less son. You need a doja. You fucking with them, you better believe we living like soldiers. We living the thugs to shit. So nigga, just throw your pumps in the air. Then you pump up with one and they got fun like that. Just don't care. You don't wanna fuck with, you don't wanna buck with a real nigga. Better check my manuscript, you killer, cabbage filler. Look with the wrist.
And then we get to Crossroads. Finally, right? Crossroads. Last but not least. I think I think this put Bone on the worldwide map. They were on the radar before this for sure, and everybody loved Bone, but this was the track that was the breakthrough. This, I respect it. It was commercial, but it wasn't a sellout track either. We didn't have like R. Kelly type of like R&B shit. I don't know. Was R. Kelly doing? Yeah, he was. But you know what I mean. Like I'm not trying to throw R. Kelly under the bus, but what I'm saying is that they didn't have to call on R&B reinforcements to appeal to a different crowd or appeal to the masses. They didn't have to make a love song, man. This was a song that people play at their funerals. And I've heard that people do that. I respect it, man. Even though I think it got a little bit played out back in the day, it was always on. And it was so much, I think it got so played out that I started to miss the original more than the remix. But when I first heard the remix, man, I loved it. I was like, this is a crazy, dope ass Bone song. It was perfect. For me back then, when it came out, I had just had some homies pass away. And as a teenager, I'm just learning, you're a teenager, you think you're invincible, but you see your friends pass away, and then this song comes out, and then of course Eazy-E passed away before it. And so death is just like starting to sink in into my brain. And I'm just like, wow, this song right here really, I wouldn't say it helped me learn about death, but it was like the soundtrack to my life back then. And I know a lot of you guys can probably feel the same way, but when you're just going through all this stuff and you're just like fucking A, man, death, and then they come out with this Crossroads track, you're like, man, it's like they're making the soundtrack to my life. It's crazy. I love it though. But like I said, eventually it kind of got played out, and I don't even know what happened to my original Bone CD because I had to run out and get the new one that had the Crossroads on there. And I played it so much, and I lost the original. And I tried to find the original these days. Good luck, man. It's kind of hard. I ordered it on eBay, and they still sent me the wrong one. They still sent me this. Whatever. Still, though, we can compare both songs. Let me know what you think. Which one do you like better? Are they both just different? I think they're both dope. I love that we have both of them, but I kind of wish that they put the original, or actually the remix one would have been better as a bonus track. But the CD was so long, I don't think it would have fit. Maybe if they put the single with it. Hey, I think so hard when you can just make more money and sell the same album twice, right? And with that, we can go over the good, the bad, the ugly. The good, this record is flawless, man. It could be the crown jewel of Ruthless Records. It might be. When you think about all their hits, and you could throw in NWA in there, and Eazy-E, and you could still make the argument that this is the best Ruthless Record album ever made. The numbers don't lie, that's for sure. It was a fucking hit, man. It was a fucking hit. Their crown jewel, possibly. It's long, it's strong, and these guys, they're really close to their prime at this point. There was no sophomore slump here, man. This was a classic. But, what about the bad? The bad. There is nothing bad about this record. Nothing bad about it. It was a masterpiece, I don't say that lightly, but this record really was just beautiful. It was perfect from start to finish. I never find myself skipping anything. Now the ugly. All right, this is the ugly. This is where I get petty, man. I get petty here. I would have loved to have a little Eazy-E in there. I think we all would. Also some more Ruthless love. So, some more Ruthless artists on here. Pop in MC Ren, some Rhythm D on the beats, maybe Hutch. This is the record that told me things were not the same at Ruthless Records as they were at Death Row. At Death Row, everybody was ride or die with each other. At Ruthless, you know, these small petty beefs and whatever prevented crossovers constantly. Constantly. We have records of these artists on Ruthless, and it's like they're in a bubble. Like, why didn't we have some Cocaine over here? And why didn't we have Ren on Cocaine's album, or Bone on Cocaine's album, or Cocaine on Bone's album, or some Bone with Above the Law, you know, yada, yada, yada. No Ren on Bone Thugs and Harmony's 1990 Eternal. I'm so confused. You know, it's like, why, what? Either way, that's the ugly. That's probably the ugly of the entire record label, really, but whatever, man. We're talking about this album. The crown jewel of this record, for me, has got to be First of the Month. There's no denying how catchy it is, the mass appeal of this track, yet it was still gutter. This was the first big track of the record before the remix of Crossroads came out. And God, it was not easy to come up with the crown jewel here because I love so many tracks on this record. You know, what's your favorite song of this record? What's the crown jewel in your opinion? Let me know in the comments. This was a cool record, man. This is still a cool record. It never gets old. I can always play it. You know, to me, it is like that Doggy Style or Chronic of Ruthless Records. You know, what that is to Death Row, this is to Ruthless Records. It's beautiful, it's classic, it's multi-platinum. Oh, it's a masterpiece. What do you guys think about East 1999 Eternal? Am I just being a hype beast, or is it really that great? Is it really that great? Is it really a monumental must-have album? The Mona Lisa of Ruthless Records and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Is there a better Bone record than this? You guys tell me in the comments. And that's going to be it, man. You guys, what do you think? You know, subscribe to the show. I appreciate all the support. You can check out our podcast too if you don't want to see my face. And that's going to be a wrap, man. Hey, stay ruthless. Listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony's 1990 Eternal. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace. Let's check out the Crossroads. I haven't seen this video in ages, man. I'm talking, I mean, I could say decades because I'm that old. I wonder who played the dead guy. Uh-oh. Okay, I remember this guy. He was like the big Grim Reaper dude. He's taking his soul. I'm gonna try to just like let go of logic for this. Cause I mean, he's already dead. Why she, I mean. You see that look? That's the look that your parents used to give you in the grocery store to shut the fuck up. Cool, cool, man. All right, man, they up in a church. He's gonna come for you. Busy Bone looking cool, man. Got his afro. Whoa. Okay. We got dead bodies. Let me guess, he's gonna see the Grim Reaper? Yup. Damn. Gives you chills, doesn't it? It's crazy. These guys just disappearing. And I miss my Uncle Chaw, y'all. Man, we need a Wish solo, please. Oh no. I hope that's how it happens to me. I just want to be sitting there playing cards with my child or nephew or something. I mean, it doesn't have to be a heart attack. It could just be like peacefully in not even my sleep. Just, peace out. Nice car. You got that Impala. A delivery room of all places. This is crazy. Man, you thought that other scene was hard. Ooh. Man, he's got the baby in the front of the line. There's the homie Eazy. See you at the crossroads. The song hits its climax. This is pretty well directed, really. Ruthless Records was always making videos that were like out there. Remember Ruthless for Life? That was cool. All right, you know, I like the video. I think it's cool. Pretty thoughtful. The old guy dying, the young guy in the street, and then of all places, the baby, and then of course they place Eazy-E in there. It was a cool video. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but you know, I don't think I watched it like this back then. Like for some reason, just watching it today, it kind of hits different, you know. Maybe I'm getting old, I'm getting soft, who knows. But yeah, man, that shit hits hard. That shit hits hard. Crossroads. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's look up, what other video did they have? The first of the month. Man, this looks like it could have been like right after the last video, Crossroads. It looks like they were watching it, man. Was I mistaken when I said this came out before the Crossroads? I might have been mistaken. That's tight. Look at those Pumas, man. He's got the suede Pumas. I love Pumas. $99. This is cool, you know. Did they rewrite their lyrics for this? I don't even know. This is cool, man. They're keeping it street. My truths, we thugs for real. All right, they rewrote it. What? Was that Wish? All right, let's rewind that a little bit, man. Just a tad. Was that Eazy? All right, that's Wish. I'm gonna say that's Wish. It's been a long time since I've seen this video, so. It's cool, man. These guys are all just kids there. Whoa, his head's on fire. Weird. Mm. This is cool, man. I like the direction of the video. You know, yeah, these guys had good video directors. That iconic video of Busy and his hair just being blown in the wind. Okay, so there's a moral of the story here. I'm taking it that this guy in the suit is rich and these guys are poor, and he's reading it. He's like Ebenezer Scrooge, you know? That's what I'm guessing. I don't know what the fire is on the heads. Is that just for show or some shit? I don't know. All right, this is cool. Not really like Scrooge. He's the opposite, you know? There we go. Man, you rarely see Wish with his afro all out. It's cool. Whoa. Lyrics are all weird. All right, this guy, he's got power. He's cleaning up the streets. I see it. That's Flesh is in there. That's cool. I wonder why Flesh is always considered like the little stepchild of Bone, you know? I guess he had other things to do back then, like time. Look at that, lazy, man. Pulling off the afro too. These guys had some of the best afros. Am I right? Am I right or what? They're like so fucking cool, right? Wow. I'm not sure I've ever heard the clean version, you know? I've seen the video, but I wasn't really paying attention back in the day. Crazy, you know, back in the day, you had to buy these records if you wanted to listen to this song as much as you wanted to listen to it, you know? Otherwise, you'd be waiting for it on MTV or the radio. Nah, man, you have to buy the record. You have to buy the tape, buy the CD. 1995 Ruthless Records.